My girlfriend confessed, "I've been cheating on you for a year with your brother." I replied, "I see." Then I packed their belongings into my car, drove to our parents' house during Sunday dinner, and dumped it all on the lawn. The entire family was suddenly calling me. I, male, am or was a planner. I have spreadsheets for my finances, a 5-year career plan, and a savings account specifically for an engagement ring. The centerpiece of that life plan was Rachel, 27, my girlfriend of 5 years. The supporting pillar was my only brother, Jack, 26M. The title of this post is a fantasy. It's what I wish I had the cinematic rage to do. It's what played out in my head in glorious slow motion as my entire world collapsed last Saturday night. The reality was much sadder and a lot more pathetic. We were on the couch. A normal Saturday. I made a joke about the terrible dialogue in the movie we were watching, and Rachel didn't laugh. She just went still. She muted the TV, took a shaky breath, and said, "Alexander, I have to tell you something." My first thought was that she was sick, or that something had happened to her parents. My mind did not, even for a second, go where she took it. "I've been cheating on you," she said, her voice flat, "for about a year, with Jack." The words didn't process right. It was like a foreign language I almost understood. A year. My brother. My brain just stalled, trying to compute the sheer scale of the lie. The hundreds of days, the family dinners, the times I'd asked Jack for advice about Rachel, the time he'd helped me pick out her birthday present. I think she expected yelling, maybe tears. I just stared at the blank TV screen. My hands started to feel numb. I remember looking down at them, thinking they didn't look like my hands anymore. "I see," I whispered. It was all the air I had in my lungs. "That's it, I see?" Rachel started to cry, a performance of relief and guilt I couldn't stand to watch. "Alexander, say something, yell at me. It was a mistake, I love you." The script. I couldn't listen to the script. I stood up on legs that felt like they belonged to someone else and walked to the bedroom. A cold, frantic energy took over. It wasn't calm or methodical. It was panicked. I was on autopilot. I pulled out every bag I could find, duffel bags, old backpacks, a couple of heavy-duty trash bags for dirty laundry. I didn't pack everything. How could I? 5 years of a life is an ecosystem. I just grabbed the obvious stuff. Her clothes from the closet, his hoodies she always had lying around, her toiletries from the bathroom shelf, sweeping them into a bag with a clatter, his laptop from the desk, her tablet, chargers, the expensive sneakers he kept at our place. I was breathing hard, my heart hammering against my ribs. I nearly threw her jewelry box against the wall, but my hand stopped, shaking. I just dumped it into a bag instead. Rachel was following me, her pleas turning to panicked questions. "What are you doing? Alexander, stop, this is insane. We can talk about this." "No, we can't," I said, my voice hoarse. "You had a year to talk. I'm done listening." It took maybe an hour. The result was a chaotic pile of their most immediate possessions by the front door. Not everything, not even close, but it was enough. I hauled it all to my car. It barely fit. I didn't know what to do. It was 1 a.m. on a Sunday morning. My fantasy of dumping it on my parents' lawn was just that, a fantasy. I couldn't show up there in the middle of the night. So I did the most practical, soul-crushing thing I could think of. I Googled 24-hour storage units, found one a few miles away, and drove there in a daze. I paid a guy who looked half asleep for a 5x5 unit for 1 month, in cash. I unloaded their lives under the buzzing fluorescent lights, and just left it there. I didn't go to Sunday dinner to dump their things. I went empty-handed. I walked in while they were setting the table. My parents, my aunt, and Jack, who had the gall to look up and smile at me. Rachel wasn't there. She was probably waiting for my call. Before anyone could ask why I looked like death, I announced it to the room. My voice was flat and hollow. "Just wanted you all to know that Rachel and I are no longer together. She confessed last night that she and Jack have been sleeping together for the past year." The silence was deafening. My mom dropped a serving spoon. My dad just stared. Jack's face went white. I looked at my brother. "Your things and hers are in a storage unit. I'll text you the address and the key code. Get your stuff and lose my number." Then I turned and walked out. My phone started vibrating with calls and texts before I even reached my car. I put it on silent. I don't know what comes next. But the planner is dead. I have no idea what my life is anymore. Update 1. It's been about a week. Thank you for the messages. It helps to know I'm not crazy. I feel like I'm living in a fog. I'm going to work, nodding in meetings, but I'm not really there. I've lost about 10 pounds because I can't seem to swallow food. My apartment feels huge and hostile. Every corner held a memory that's now tainted. The fallout has been as messy and painful as you'd expect. My dad was the first to get through. He was disappointed, mostly in the scene I caused. Son, that wasn't the place. We could have handled this privately. I asked him how exactly one privately handles this level of betrayal. He had no answer. My mom's voicemail was pure hysteria. How could you say that in front of your aunt? You've embarrassed this family. Jack is a mess. You know how sensitive he is. She was crying for him. I made my first mistake then. Fueled by lack of sleep and pure rage, I texted her back. He's sensitive? Did he feel sensitive when he was screwing my girlfriend in my own bed? Your priorities are disgusting. Of course, she immediately showed that text to everyone to prove how cruel and unstable I was being. Lesson learned. Jack and Rachel are, as predicted, staying with my parents. Their entitlement is more insidious than I imagined. It's not a Venmo request. It's death by 1,000 cuts. Rachel has been using my Uber Eats account, which was still logged in on her old phone, small orders here and there. When I changed the password and texted her to stop, she replied, "Well, you owe me. Half the stuff in that apartment is mine. Consider it a down payment." She's right about the stuff. And that's the next battle. She's been texting me lists of things she owns. The coffee table, the good kitchen knives, the bookshelf, the damn bath mat. We bought most of it together over the years, but I paid for the big-ticket items. My name is on the receipts, but in her mind, it's shared property. This is where it gets complicated. I spoke to a lawyer, just for a consultation. He was blunt. He said she has no legal claim to stay in my apartment. My name is sole on the lease. But the property inside is a gray area, a potential civil matter. He said her sending a nasty letter from a lawyer was a real possibility, and that responding would cost me. It felt like getting kicked while I was already down. I have to pay money because I got cheated on. Jack hasn't apologized. His only text to me was, "Seriously, dude, a storage unit? My gaming monitor is in there. I need that. Are you gonna pay for the month?" The sheer audacity is breathtaking. He's not sorry for the betrayal. He's annoyed about the inconvenience. My family is treating this like a sibling squabble that I escalated. They want me to talk it out, forgive, and be the bigger person. They want me to absorb the pain so everyone else can go back to being comfortable. I'm starting to realize I wasn't just a boyfriend and a brother. I was a shock absorber for the entire family. And I'm done. Update 2. The fog is starting to lift, replaced by a cold, hard anger. The past few weeks have been a slow, grinding war of attrition. As the lawyer predicted, the letter arrived. Official looking, from a cheap local law firm, demanding that I arrange a time for Rachel to retrieve her personal and shared property, and threatening legal action for unlawful conversion of assets if I didn't comply. It was mostly bluster, but it still made my stomach turn. I had to pay my lawyer $400 to draft a response stating that she could schedule a time to retrieve her undisputed personal belongings like her remaining clothes and books, and that any shared items were open to negotiation. The negotiation, of course, is the sticking point. Then came the confrontation with my mother. She showed up at my door last week, not with an apology, but with a plan. "This has gone on long enough, Alexander," she said, walking in like she still had a right to be there. "Jack and Rachel are walking on eggshells in my house. It's not a long-term solution." "I agree," I said. "They should get jobs and an apartment." "Don't be glib," she snapped. "Jack is too distraught to even look for work. You did this. You have to help fix it." Then she laid it out. It wasn't as insane as asking me to move to the spare room. It was more manipulative. They need a stable place for a few weeks, just to get on their feet. Let them stay here. You have the space. I just looked at her. "You want me to let them live here? With me?" It would show you're the bigger person. It would show you value family over bitterness. It's just for a little while. What are they supposed to do, Alexander? Go to a shelter? He's your brother. That was the line. The attempt to make me responsible for the consequences of their actions. "My answer is no," I said, my voice dangerously quiet. "If I came to you and said I had done this to Jack, Would you be asking him to let me stay at his place? She had the decency to look away. That's different. It's not. The only difference is that you've always excused him. You've enabled him. And I'm done with it. Please leave my home. She left, and that was the last time we spoke. The pressure from the family has been immense. They're framing me as cold and unforgiving. The practical matters are just as frustrating. I tried to get my name off the family phone plan, and my dad pitched a fit about the rates going up. Dealing with the car insurance for Jack's car, which was registered at my address, has been a bureaucratic nightmare. It's not one clean phone call. It's forms, emails, and them demanding proof he no longer resides here, which he, of course, is dragging his feet on providing. Every step of separating my life from theirs is like pulling teeth. It's designed to make me give up, to just say, fine, whatever, keep the coffee table, keep the lower insurance rate, just leave me alone. They are miscalculating. This frustration isn't breaking me. It's forging something new. I'm done being a shock absorber. Every frustrating form, every lawyer's bill just hardens my resolve. They think this is about a breakup. I now see it's about a lifetime of dysfunction. Final update. This will be my last update. The war of attrition is over, and the new landscape of my life is becoming clear. There was no single cinematic moment of victory. There was just a series of draining, difficult, and necessary actions. The property. After weeks of back-and-forth emails between lawyers, Rachel sent me a ridiculously long list of items she claimed were hers. I went through it, line by line, with my credit card statements. I agreed to about 20% of it, her clothes, books, gifts from her family. For the rest, the furniture, the TV, the good cookware, I offered to sell her my half at 50% of their current used value. My lawyer called it a more than fair offer. She refused, calling me a thief. The last I heard, she told a mutual friend she couldn't afford to buy back her own life. She finally scheduled a time, and a friend of mine was here as a witness while she silently packed her undisputed things and left. The coffee table remains. It's just a table now. The loan. The old $5,000 loan I gave Jack was the final frontier. He ignored my lawyer's initial demand letter, so I took the next step. I paid the $75 filing fee and took him to small claims court. The moment he was officially served with a court summons at my parents' house was, I'm told, a moment of profound humiliation for the family. My dad called me, not yelling this time, but with a defeated voice. He offered to set up a payment plan from his own account to make this go away. I accepted. The first payment of $200 arrived last week. It's not about the money, it's about the acknowledgement. The consequences. The fallout for them has been a slow, quiet implosion. Jack's undrivable car sits in the driveway, a monument to his poor choices. He and Rachel are still at my parents' house. The thrill of their secret affair has curdled into the grim reality of sharing a childhood bedroom while unemployed and broke. A cousin who still talks to me says the tension in that house is suffocating. They fight constantly. It turns out a relationship built on deceit doesn't have a very strong foundation. Who knew? My family is fractured. Christmas is a source of dread for them. Some relatives have quietly reached out to support me. Others have sided with my parents and Jack. It's a schism. As for me, this wasn't a clean win. It was messy, expensive, and it has cost me my family. I'm out over $1,000 in legal fees and moving costs. I'm in therapy, working through a type of grief that has no greeting card. Some days are good. I'll buy a new piece of furniture that is unequivocally mine and feel a flicker of hope. Other days, I'll see a couple that looks like we used to, and I'll have to sit down in my car for 10 minutes before I can drive. I am alone, but I'm no longer living a lie. The spreadsheets and 5-year plans are gone. My life is no longer a neat projection. It's just mine. Messy, scarred, and uncertain. But for the first time in a very long time, it's real. And I'm starting to think that's better than any plan I could have come up with.